Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at the iPhone 13 Pro. Really excited about the 13 Pro. I did recently purchase the 12 Pro Max. Fantastic camera. I say camera because I purchased it more for the camera than as a mobile phone. And it's a great product. I love it. There'll be a link up here somewhere. I think it's up here or up here to my initial thoughts of the 12 Pro Max. Particularly the images that come off it, the still images, they're great. And I know now that I can replace my RX100 VA with either the 12 Pro Max or the iPhone 13, probably the 13. Now, I'm actually filming with a 13 because this video, I want to demonstrate the cinematic mode. And what you're looking at now is the cinematic mode of the 13 Pro. It's a great concept, and I think over the next 2 or 3 years, 4 years, this is really going to develop into something incredibly useful and incredibly powerful for filmmakers. At the moment, it is still really good, and you can see that. Now, let's cut to the actual phone itself. And you can see, you know, how good this is. Now, I'm actually filming it on the 13 Pro, as well as going into my 8M Mini Pro. Everything's Pro, isn't it? My 8M Mini Pro. But the HDMI out coming out of the 13 Pro is actually showing everything. It's showing all the menu structure, where obviously recording it directly to the phone, it won't show that. So when you see it, you won't see all this menu structure. But you can see how the face detector is actually following my face, and the bokeh is creating, basically it's creating a fake bokeh, and it's very clever how it does it. I actually don't know how it does it. It's using computational photography. I mean, it's got a portrait mode for stills, and that does it for stills, but to do it for video, and when you think of the processing power required for that, because video is recording anything from 25 to 30 frames a second, and it's having to create that computational image 30 times a second. That's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And you record directly to the iPhone, and then what you then do, once you've got it recorded, you have to go into the edit mode and create what aperture you want that bokeh to be, whether it be at its widest f2 or f4 or whatever. Then you save that as a separate MOV file, and then you can load that into your edit programs like Final Cut Pro, I guess Adobe Premiere and what have you. I use Final Cut Pro because I use Macs. So we're actually today looking at how good this fake bokeh is. Now, they're calling it cinematic mode for obvious reasons, because that's what's used in the cinemas for creating, well, the iPhone isn't used, but cameras and lenses that create that lovely cinematic mode. But you can also do rack focusing and pull focusing. I've done that earlier on a video earlier when I was using the iPhone 13. And you can focus on something on the foreground and then tell it to focus on something in the background, normally faces. So the concept and the implementation is very good. I'm very impressed. And I think it will only get better and better, and it really does. I really think it does show how mobile phones are taking over the world of videography and photography. Not only does it work on the rear cameras, which you would expect it to, it actually works on the selfie camera. And here's a clip I filmed earlier in the day using the selfie camera in cinematic mode. And I would say, that looks pretty good. Now, apparently, I can actually, in the edit, choose what aperture I want the bokeh to be, and that is phenomenal. So you can do it in post as well as doing it, as you're filming. I think you can't do it in post on the computer. You'd have to do it on your mobile phone. You'd have to do it on the iPhone, because Final Cut Pro 10 hasn't had the update yet to be able to do that, because it needs the depth data to be able to work out what that what it is, as it were. So yeah, all clever stuff. It's all, wow, it's way above my head how these engineers have created this sort of technology, but it's phenomenal. And it really is bringing mobile phones into the realm of serious videography. At the moment, it only does it in 1080. It won't do it in 4K. But for vlogging and this kind of stuff, 1080 is completely fine. I don't see that as being a major drawback. And I think it could be because many people have said it's probably because of the processing power to process 4K material, but it's probably also 4K would be far too detailed, and you would see where it's actually doing, where the computational work is coming in. So 1080 is just a bit softer, so it's better for this kind of work. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? Even though it is fake, and you can adjust the fakeness before you export the video, so you can have it as, like an f2, which is what I would do, or you can go right down to just a little bit of bokeh, a little bit of fakeness. But using computational photography, I think, is really good. I mean, iPhone or Apple introduced this technology, I think it was the iPhone 7, not for video, but for stills. And it was a bit ropey back then, but it's got better and better and better. And again, I think for video, it can only get better. So it is definitely a nail in the coffin for compact cameras. I mean, they've been suffering for many, many years, and not many manufacturers are making decent compact cameras nowadays. We know that Ricoh are with their GR3 and the GR3X. We know that Sony are with the RX100 range. But are they going to continue? I mean, is there really a market for those kind of compact cameras? I've also, I'm working on a video at the moment comparing the still images from the ZV-1 to my, it was actually the 12 Pro Max. And the 12 Pro Max is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The images that are coming off the 13 Pro are just a little bit better. I'm not saying they're dramatically better, actually, to be honest. They might well be in low light. I'm going to be testing that next week when I go to London. So that'll be very interesting to see how well it does cope in much lower lighting conditions. But for now, that's what the cinematic mode looks like on the new i13. It's actually available on all the 13s. The 13 Mini, the 13, the 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max. I'm actually working with it on the 13 Pro. And as I say, it's a nice compact phone. It's a great, it's a great tool. One of the things I love about mobile phones, and I can't understand why this hasn't been implemented in mirrorless cameras, in compact cameras, is the ability to upload to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you. Social media is so important these days. But the apps that these camera manufacturers are releasing to go alongside their cameras are lousy. I've struggled with them all the time. The best one I've come across so far is SnapBridge for Nikon. But the others just seem to be so pathetic and so lousy. Unless it's me, I don't know. At least now with a phone, when I go out and about with my brother, my fiance, or friends or whatever, as thousands upon thousands of people do, you take your video, you take your snaps with your mobile phone, upload them straight to social media. Great, it's fantastic. So there we go. That's a quick look at the cinematic mode for the iPhone 13, the 13 Mini, 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max. So as I said earlier, we're actually filming with the iPhone 13. The only thing I would say is you can see, we look at here, you can see the menu structure. There is no way at the moment of setting manual shutter speeds. We wouldn't be able to set manual aperture because that's what this is doing. It's faking it. But you can't seem to be able to set ISO or exposure. It is what it is. Shutter speeds or whatever. What you get is what you get. There are other apps I use for video with the iPhone, but they don't have the cinematic mode. It is only on the Apple app, from what I can see so far. But maybe third-party developers will introduce, apps that can work with that technology. I don't know. But battery life is great as well on a mobile phone. So much better than on the ZV-1. So yeah, I'm thinking that this is definitely a way forward. This is definitely, it's not the entire future, but it's definitely moving towards that sort of, technology. So there we go. thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this short, it's not a tutorial, but this short video on the cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 range very interesting. I'm certainly finding it very interesting, and I'm enjoying how it all works. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography and mobile phone photography and videography. I'm really, enjoying doing this. Never thought I would ever say that. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you do like, this video. That would be really, really helpful. And go to my website. There'll be a link in the description below to download trial versions of Capture One, Luminar, Luminar AI, and if you do decide to buy them, use the codes that are in the description below to get either 10% off or $10 off, depending on what software you're going to buy. But yeah, download the links and download the trial software. That would be absolutely fantastic. So thanks very much for watching. Cheers for now. Bye.